Ayo, what's up, everybody? This is the McAllister's podcast coming to you live, super solo on a Tuesday night. I'm your host, as always, Cohen McAllister. You know the drill. Bro, 231 episodes in. If you don't know what the fuck is up, well, then I would assume that you're a new subscriber or a listener, and congratulations for finding this podcast, or you just suck. One of the two. No, I'm kidding. No, I know I just did an episode, but I am trying to put out more content. I am trying to just do as much as possible. So I'm here on the audio waves once again. I kind of wanted to start this episode out more on a personal note, which I used to talk a lot about the cannabis, or not cannabis, I should say, the porn addiction stuff. I used to talk about that quite a bit. That was just a subject that I talked about a lot. But I've kind of strayed away from that because I think I guess I won't even go too into it, but it just seemed to be more taxing to, be involved in that type of messaging and that type of like action that goes into if you have that recovery mentality, not like an AA thing, but just like in general, just recognizing that, hey, this is a behavior that's problematic that I need to X out my life. I think there's just a lot of extra crap, to say, lack of a better term, just a bunch of extra crap that goes into that. But anyways, I thought I would kind of revisit that on a different subject today. Something that I have come to the realization of. I've been kind of thinking about the whole thing for the last year. Honestly, it's been something that's been on my mind. It's something I've thought about, and it's been difficult. It's been difficult to really get to this point for me because I guess I should say it. I've decided that I'm going to quit cannabis use for at least 6 months, if not longer, depending on how it goes. And the reason I'm doing this, and I know people kind of think, usually when I say I quit something, I'm quitting, right? But this is more of a trial phase for me. This is me really putting it to the test whether cannabis really does what I have always believed that it does for me, or if it's more damaging in the long run than what I thought. And I think this 6-month trial is going to kind of determine that. It's going to determine, how, I'm going to go through the process essentially of discovering if this is good for me, or if this is bad for me, right? And, I've come to this realization because I have physical health problems with my bladder and gastrointestinal stuff, and the cannabis exacerbates that. I've always known that. But it's something that I just didn't really come to terms with because, cannabis has really helped me with anxiety. I have autism. I have a lot of trauma from my childhood that I used that substance to help heal. And, and I want to say, this is not me bad-mouthing cannabis or really any substance. Any substance, really. I still am a believer of legalization, full drug legalization. I'm still a believer that I don't think anyone should be imprisoned or put in a cage or even penalized in any way for peacefully using a substance at home. I think that's wrong. But this is just a personal decision for me that I have come to, where I've just decided, I need to really bite the bullet and really see if it really helps. Or is this just something that I have been using this for a decade plus to cope, and the positive effects that I felt from it are no longer as strong as I want them to be. Or is my quality of life, are the problems of my life really so So challenging that I actually do need cannabis to medicate myself. I really don't know. That I have not truly given myself the chance to really quit for a long period of time. I think the longest I ever actually quit cannabis use was let me have your stash. That's funny. Yeah, I don't have any left, bro. I'll give you my pipe if you want. But no, I mean, I think doing this is going to really show me where I'm at, where I'm like, if this is really going to help or not. Right. Me quitting, me deciding, hey, this just doesn't help it as much as it did. And, I just have never given myself that chance. I've only done like a month and a half, and I've had mixed results with that. There have been some months I've done it and it's been fine. There's some months I've done it and it's caused me to just spiral out into, addiction with porn or whatever. So it's going to be a trial. It's going to be a trial period. Right. And, I myself personally, I tend to be a really emotionally unstable person. Not like I take medication. I take other medication for these kind of things. Right. But like, even with that, I can get very emotional very quick. I can go up and down very, very quickly. Not even really quickly, but like, I just have extremes, right? Like if I'm really upset, if I'm really overwhelmed, like I completely shut down. And cannabis has always been a way for me to kind of get back to it, right? Like, oh, I'm feeling this anxiety. I got podcasts. I got to go work. I got to do whatever. I got to do shit around the house, right? Whatever. Boom. Hit my pipe. I'm good, right? But I think it's also, there's the cost of it too, right? Like, is this really worth the cost of it? And I don't know. I don't know the answer to any of these questions. What I do know though is if I really want to continue to proponent cannabis as the medication that I want to think it is, or that people think it is, I really have to bite the bullet and really just give myself that 6 months. And look, in this 6 months, I got 420 and my birthday in that 6 month period. And I'm thinking about this day. I'm like, should I break it for those days? And I'm not going to. I'll enjoy a cigar. I'll enjoy a cigar in those days. But October 1st, I'm just going to say October 1st. I mean, or I guess technically it would be like a couple days before that, but we'll just say October 1st. I'm not going to consume any type of cannabis until October 1st. And we're going to see what happens. If I spiral out of control in that amount of time, that might happen. I don't know. I don't think it will. But if that happens, that's going to happen because I'm not doing it. I'm not smoking in the 6 months. I'm not taking edibles this 6 months. I'm not taking any dabs this 6 months. Not even CBD. I haven't even, like, CBD was always like a balancing point for me. I'm not even doing that. I'm truly doing it cold turkey. Gonna quit for this 6 months at least. Gonna really focus on the podcast, really focus on the grind. And, for some more context and background for this, and this has been something that has been really difficult for me to really admit to myself, because I think when I was living in the environment that I did, it was hard to, like when I grasped and realized that, oh, there's something really fucked up about the way I'm growing up. It was always met with ridicule. Every time. And it was met with ridicule, of course, from the people who were perpetrating that, which makes sense. But I mean, I'm not trying to paint myself as Oliver Twist. I didn't grow up poor, right? Like I grew up, like my family had means. We grew up pretty well. I'm not saying otherwise, but I did grow up in an abusive household. And I was hit. I was emotionally neglected. These are hard things for me to even, like, I say them and I sound like I'm playing it up. But this is something that several people have like told me, like, hey, you really grew up in a really bad environment. And it's hard. It's hard to talk about. It's hard to really admit that to myself. So basically what happened to me, when up until the age of, really until college, I truly woke up every day wanting to kill myself. I hated living under the roof I did. I hated living at home. And I know like every teenager hates their parents, right? But I truly knew that something was fucked up. I knew that getting hit when I, like, not even as a kid, but like 17, getting in fights with my father, getting smacked around all the time for whatever stupid shit, getting yelled at all the time, having extreme punishments for like the most minor things. You know, there was even like with my education, right? Like around the age of 16, we really kind of came to terms with like the fact that, oh, like, you might really have some learning disability. Even though they had diagnosed me as autism, but they just didn't tell me my whole life. That's a whole other thing. But like we were at the ADHD diagnosis. And my father just refused to accept that. He refused to accept it. He would continue to, it would be a Sunday. It'd be Friday night. It'd be a Friday night. I'd, be wanting to go do stuff with my friends or whatever, right? And he would just sit, he would be like, okay, you're going to sit down and do homework for an hour. And every time you get distracted and stop doing homework, I'm going to reset this timer. I did homework all night. I went to bed not having finished my homework because that's me. That's my disorder. That's what that is. But that's just me, right? And I think there was some inability for them to accept that. And I think maybe in present day they can accept that better, but my past is my past, right? What happened. This is getting too deep. But essentially, so I really did grow up every day wanting to kill myself. I had multiple suicide attempts. Not even really attempts, just like points where I was like right there, like blade above my wrist, hanging off a building, right? Like to the point where I was about there. Like I wouldn't be here today. Like if I had gone 1 second further, 5 seconds further, I would not be sitting here doing a podcast. That's just the truth. And when I left home and I went to college, I discovered cannabis. I went, my entire floor was, we were literally notoriously known as like the pothead floor. we would like all like 30 of us, we would like all go outside to our cars, like all form in groups and go to our cars, smoke, all come back in and like make pizzas and like just watch stupid movies. Like it was, it was great. Like, and I remember the joy that I felt. I remember like finally feeling good when I consumed this product, when I consumed cannabis. And I held on to that for a long time. I held on to that for a decade plus. And to this day, I have a really hard time accepting the idea that if I quit using cannabis, that I'm not going to go down that same road again. Even though when I've been on cannabis, I've still gotten close to there, right? I'm not, it hasn't been like a suicide attempt, or not even attempt, but like a suicide free decade, right? Like I've had my lows. I went through a divorce, but so like even when I was using cannabis, I kind of got to that point. So, look, it's kind of a terrifying thought being like, hey, I'm not going to use cannabis anymore. but it has to happen. It has to happen. I can't keep chasing I can't keep chasing it. I just can't. It's not feasible. It's financially just kind of, it's a lot. So that's really it. That's my decision. And I want to say it's my decision alone. This is not, I don't have like family pressuring me or friends pressuring me. I've been met with criticism for sure from people about it, but it's not a push. It's me really kind of saying, I've heard this a million times, like, hey, it's not going to get better until it gets worse. And I've never let myself get to the point where it gets worse. So what I'm doing is I'm letting it get to that point. But I will say this. If 6+ months goes by and I realize that it's really not, it's not what I want it to be, or it's not it doesn't, like, if it just isn't worth it not smoking, then I'm probably just going to continue to use it. Maybe not as much, maybe more sparingly, maybe whatever. But I need to at least try. I need to at least give it the old college try, as they say. Okay, enough of the personal sappy bullshit. I just wanted to get that out. I just thought I made a post about the other day, and I thought, this is not an April Fool's prank, by the way. I just thought it'd be interesting to kind of give my take on that. And, I think there are a lot of people out there who also struggle with maybe not even addiction per se, but just feeling like they go through life and life is so hard that they need something. And I get that. I don't judge anybody for that. I really don't. Like, I'll talk, like, if somebody's like using nitrous or heroin, or, not even heroin, let's say some other stupider, more reckless drug, I might talk shit a little bit. I might break some balls, but I'm not going to morally disparage that person. I'm not going to say, I think you're a bad person for using this substance. I'm going to come at it from a charitable, caring position. Anyways, okay, enough of that. Kind of on the same topic of drugs, I thought I would talk about something that has, as of March 28th, has happened in the psilocybin community. This is not something I saw. I didn't see this the last episode. We would have talked about them, but we're talking about it now. So here we go. Okay, Iowa lawmakers. This is from Marijuana Moment. Iowa lawmakers unanimously approve bill, to create psilocybin program that would treat up to 5,000 patients with PTSD. The bill, HF 620 from Representative John Wills, passed the House Ways and Means Committee on a 23-0 vote at a hearing Thursday. Wow. Not a single person. And that's a Republican. That's a good sign. The fact that a Republican pushed that through and didn't get any pushback. Wow, that's beautiful, honestly. This is a win. This is a fucking win. Look, it's very likely that this doesn't actually get passed. This has been happening with cannabis for years. Just like, people always pass bills. They're like, oh, hey, here's the bill for, and then it just gets shot down. That's been happening for like as long as I can remember. Like, I remember always following the cannabis news of Iowa and being just disappointed. I'm like, oh, hey, this is the year. And then it just like, and the shitty thing is like, they can just like not even look at it. Like when they have the House hearing or whatever the fuck it is, or like whenever they meet for that, they literally can just not look at it. It could be on the table. It could be like a bill that's been written up, approved, like as unanimously as this, and they can just decide, we're just not gonna get to it. We got more important things to do, which is bullshit. it's obviously, they're obviously doing it because their bottom line is attached to that, right? Like they have markets in alcohol or tobacco or whatever, and putting another substance in like cannabis is going to be a competitor for that, so they don't want that, right? But look, it's like I kind of said in the last episode, you got to take a win when there's a win. And the fact that we have taken one more step to say, hey, here's a substance that can actually help people, honestly, more than cannabis, has a lot of evidence to suggest that it truly helps people with PTSD. Like people who are like fatally diagnosed with cancer. A lot of them use psilocybin, or I think it was psilocybin. Yeah, they use psilocybin to cope with death, and they end up really approaching that with a peaceful mindset, which I think is just beautiful. I think it's just beautiful. I think, like, if you can really relieve yourself of the anxiety and the fear around death and really just have it be like a peaceful experience, I think that's beautiful. And the fact that we are going another step to where this is something that can possibly happen is just great. I love hearing this. This is just this. When I heard this the other day, I was like, yes. And, I told the group chat, and they were like, well, it probably won't be passed. I'm like, maybe not, probably not. So what? It's in the public discourse. It's a discussion, right? When you see every other state around us legalizing cannabis, other states in the country legalizing psilocybin, and, living in the disappointment year after year after year of them not passing things or not even discussing this. And, and for years previous, I remember talking to, like Marco Battaglia or other people from the Libertarian Party who really have been trying to push psilocybin for years and years and years, and they've gotten nowhere. And so the fact that we're here, I love it. I love that we're actually here, that we're actually at a point where this could be a possibility, even if it's a small window. Honestly, even if it's not a possibility, like I said, it's in the public discourse. People like, my father's age, like people from that generation, even older generations, there's something, it's sad that this is the case, but there's something to be said when government puts the stamp of approval on something. They're like, for a majority of people in those age groups, or just in general, a light kind of switches, right? They're like, oh, well, the government said this is okay, so it's okay. And, I don't like that as a concept anyways. Like, I don't think it's anybody's right to judge somebody's use on a substance. But it's still the fact that there's a possibility that more and more people could really be accepting of this and not just think like, oh, look at these hippies tripping, and actually really be like, oh, hey, this actually does what you would hope any medication would do, which is relieve a symptom. And, for that specific example of coping with death, right? Like, this substance can really relieve a lot of that. So this is a win. Like, for all the disparaging things I was saying about the Iowa government, this is a gleam of hope right here. This is, hey, something really positive could actually come out of this. And I really hope it does. I really, really hope it does. Okay, last thing. I know this is kind of a shorter episode. I didn't really have a whole lot to talk about. I kind of wanted to just mostly talk about this personal shit with being completely sober. I wanted to talk about the Studio Ghibli AI craze that is going on. And, I've been seeing, I think a lot of this is because I do spend a majority of my time on Facebook, which I shouldn't. like I know, like if I wanted like a more balanced, not even balanced, I don't know. Facebook actually I feel like it's gotten a little better. I feel like the problem with Facebook is like the people who run it have like kind of taken a better approach, but the community is still just how it is, right? Like the community is still just like, for lack of a better term, woke, right? So, so people have, I've seen a lot of criticism about the use of the AI to make Studio Ghibli type images, something that I myself have been having a hell of a time with. It's a great time. They won't let me do anything with Jews or 9/11 though, which makes me kind of suspicious. I'm kidding, but no, I mean, I guess I just kind of wanted to give my take on the whole, and I've talked about this a little bit before, so maybe I won't go into this too much, but like I wanted to just give my take on the whole AI takes jobs and AI, or like, takes artists' jobs away, or, steals or whatever. I think the whole argument with AI stealing art is just bullshit. And this is someone who's an artist, okay? This is someone who had a rap career, not a career, but I had my phase, right? I paint, I draw, I edit all this stuff, like that's art, right? Like I am a part of that community. I am an artist. But I think what it really, I mean, when I see people against this, against like the use of AI for art, I truly think of them as gatekeepers. I truly think of them as, it's like, it's no different from like the corporate media trying to keep its stronghold on communication and the voice, right? Like it's the same thing as them being like, oh, podcasting is bullshit, right? Like podcasting is taking away from whatever, right? Like if somebody made that argument, you would just be like, shut the fuck up. Like, no, it's not. Like people are just independently doing their thing. And look, I guess that the AI thing is a little different because it's not necessarily like someone being independent. It's someone using a tool. So it's a little different in that aspect. I get that, but I think the analogy still kind of sticks. And it's the same people who were against the typewriter. They were against the television. They were against newspapers. It's like when the printing press came and everybody was freaking the fuck out because, oh God, like calligraphers aren't going to have a job anymore because it's the same goddamn thing. And like, I think people just use the excuse of like, oh, because this technology is so good that it's bad. Like, no, I don't care. AI as a whole, it helps people. It's a tool. It's a tool that people can use to streamline processes, like things that would take hours on end now take minutes. And like, I hate even like the education stuff with like, yeah, kids use it to cheat. Maybe it's not, maybe the problem is that the kids aren't using it to cheat. Maybe it's my argument, which the education system is trash and it's a waste of time and money. And maybe we don't really need it. Maybe, hey, instead of having to sit in a classroom for years and years and years and years to learn shit, maybe we're just at a point of life where, hey, I don't necessarily need to fill my brain with all this stuff. I mean, yeah, people should have real life experiences and learn through that. I'm not saying that, but like in terms of like, like the quote unquote like textbook information, right? There's just no need anymore for people to just store all that information in their head. They can be like, oh, hey, I think of it like a math problem. I know that sounds kind of contradictory to what I was just saying, but I really think of it as a math problem. Like, oh, I have this piece of information and then I want to equal it to like a revelation of some kind or like some whatever, right? And all I need is this other piece, and things like ChatGPT, Siri, whatever. I mean, they provide that. They provide that piece. And that's also kind of an ironic thing of it too, right? It's like we've already been using AI for like a decade, but now that's in the form of ChatGPT and AI art. People are now freaking the fuck out. It's like, you've been using this for a decade. Like, it gets a little bit better and now you're suddenly getting condone it? Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, if you're going to be against it from the get-go, right? Don't be a fucking hypocrite about it. So I guess that's kind of my take on it. I think at the end of the day, look, you can be the old man bitching and moaning and saying how bullshit it is that people are using all this technology and whatever. Fine. you know what's going to happen to you? You're going to get left in the fucking dust. I don't do it anymore, but for a long time, I used AI to edit my podcast. Shit, I might have to actually start doing that soon if we add multiple cameras too. But you know, that was something that I had, like, I did. It streamlined my process. Instead of me spending a week editing, fucking switching the cameras and going back and like sitting through it and switching and everything, right? Like, instead of having to do that, I just plugged it into AI and AI did it. It just fucking did it. And I you know, it's like with any technology. It's like, look, it's like back in the 90s when, like, if computers had come out and people were like, oh, hey, I still use the typewriter. You know who's using a typewriter anymore? Nobody. And all the people that complained about that, they're long gone, forgotten. And you can bitch and moan about that. You can say, hey, it's going to take away jobs. That might be true. But you know what? New jobs will be created. New industries will be created. There will always be a place in society for people who have certain skills. It might not be in the way you want to. That's life. But this whole idea that, like, oh, AI is going to take over. It's just such a stupid concept. First of all, for AI to take over, to truly take over, I'm not saying like that it can't be used as a really effective tool to ruin people's lives. I'm talking about like taking, like, the whole like Terminator idea of like taking over. But like, I know people in government who refuse to let their employees use AI, ChatGPT, because they are so afraid of the Terminator. And I'm like, that is the most retarded shit ever. Look, we as a human race can't even agree on consciousness. There's religion, there is science, and neither of those things have made a concrete understanding about consciousness, especially to the point where they could program it into a computer, and that computer, like, this whole thing where I'm talking right now, I have my stream consciousness, you are sitting behind us, you are sitting listening to this, and you're processing all that information and doing it with it what you will. We have no fucking clue how that works. Zero. We have theories, we have ideas, but nobody has a concrete idea about that. So the argument that, oh, AI is just going to do it, is just going to be this, like, being, like, no, man. If we can't figure that out, it's not going to figure that out. Everything that AI is based off of and coded off of is by people. There's no higher power from people that is creating this AI or putting it in a certain direction. It's purely just all human-made creation. So nothing that we create is going to surpass that. In terms of consciousness, like, yes, you can create weapons or technology that surpasses humans. I get that. But when you're talking specifically about this, like, AI thing, right? Like, hey, we're going to have, this is going to be just a superior being, right? Like I got into an argument with someone on Facebook, and they were like talking about the ethical dilemma of like how we what if we like are abusive to AI and things like, or like I don't even remember. It was this liberal nonsense, and I was just like, AI is a tool. That's like saying if I use my computer, if I leave my computer on for 2 days straight, that I am being abusive to my computer. It's such a ludicrous idea. Like, no, it's a piece of technology. Like, I'm sorry, I just do not think it's ever going to get to that point. And regardless of that, it's not stealing jobs. It's technology. People are innovative. Humans are innovative. This is what happens. And you can bitch and moan about it while you go get your fucking Starbucks or whatever the fuck, whatever other things that you love that technology is, that wouldn't have been possible without the innovation of humans and technology, right? You're going to enjoy all the rest of that. Like, you know, you're going to sit on Facebook and bitch about how, oh, Studio Ghibli AI is taking jobs. You're going to do that and then go fucking get Starbucks, which is an innovation. Coffee is an innovation. The fact that, like, we have created these drinks and, like, Starbucks as a company has multiple different locations that, like, people can go to the same drink. Like, that's an innovation of people. You know what the alternative is? You have coffee beans in your fucking yard and you're like cultivating coffee beans and then you're grinding them up by hand and then you're making coffee. But no, we don't have to do that. You know why? Human innovation. Now you can just go to fucking Starbucks and get a coffee. It's the same goddamn thing. People are such goddamn hypocrites when it comes to this. It's like the Spotify argument. I'm sorry. Like, this is another area I just don't sympathize with artists on. Like, people bitch about, like, oh, Spotify doesn't pay out enough for artists. Okay. Everybody who bitches about that bought into the digital idea of, hey, we're gonna digitize songs, we're gonna put them in an online catalog, and people are gonna be able to digest it that way. All those people all bought into that. You know why? Because it's good. It makes people's lives better. Instead of, if I want to listen to a new song, I can go to YouTube. I can go to iTunes or, you know, Spotify. I don't have to go down to the dojo. I don't have to go down to the record store and pick out a fucking, like, find the vinyl. I don't have to go to Walmart and find the CD. It's literally right there. Like, all the people who protest that do that every day. I guarantee you, they all have a fucking Spotify account and they all love and enjoy that music. But no, when it comes to paying the artists, we're gonna bitch about that. You don't get it both ways, man. Either be against it or be with it. You don't get to live in this middle ground and actually have people take you seriously. It's just not gonna happen. I'm not gonna take you seriously. And eventually, in 20, 50 years, when all this humming and jumping and whatever is gone, these people who are complaining about Studio Ghibli are going to be long forgotten. It's just such a stupid. It's stupid. It's really stupid how. And it's like I said before, they're literally just gatekeepers. They're people who, like themselves, are artists. It's the same. It's like the same argument that I made last episode with government, right? Like, you can't have a good faith conversation about government with somebody in government. Like, they are always going to have that bias towards government. It's the same thing with this. They are always going to have that bias as artists to be like, I want my job. I want my job. No, you don't get your job, okay? You have a skill set. You put that out into the world and you find a job. You go get it. You don't just, it's not just given to you. It's not something that's just handed on a platter. Oh, jobby, give me my jobby. Please give me my jobby. I need my jobby. I need it. No. Stop. Grow up. All right, everybody. That's it for the episode. I'm gonna lose some subs over that. Stay tuned. We got a guest. We do have. I've confirmed it today. We do finally have a guest. It's gonna go up on the YouTube next week. I'm really excited. Until then, stay tuned. We'll be doing some game streams and stuff. One of these days, I don't know if it's gonna be BioShock or I'm gonna play I'm gonna find a classic game. Not Fallout New Vegas because it crashes every 10 seconds, but I'm going to find a game that I really love, that really hold dear to me. I'm going to play through the whole thing. We're all going to experience that game together. Even if it's 20 years old, 20 plus years old, you're going to digest it because of the internet. All right. Otherwise, hit the like button, subscribe button, all that bullshit.